That's my secret, cat. I'm always angry.
Alright. I ran out of patience. On the roost!
Hey everyone, Captain, big fan of Spider-Man.
Avengers! Assemble.
Hello, Peter.
Hello and welcome to the Infinity Saga and Beyond an MCU fan podcast. My name is Jordan Wiegand, and today we are updating you on the latest changes to this Phase 5 and 6 schedule for Disney Plus shows for Marvel Studios. So, a lot of this is due to the strikes. I would say all of it is due to the strikes. Or rather, that the fact that the studios are not willing to actually pay what they probably should for the writers and actors. Right? Without the writers or the actors, we don't get any of this content. So, there you go. But yeah, so they ended up shifting. This came out, I think, Friday night, that they have changed the schedule again. So Loki Season 2 is still hitting October 6th, and we will be breaking it down week by week here with Casey McGeorge, who just recapped the Secret Invasion series with me. He's done WandaVision with me and She-Hulk. So he will be back to talk Loki Season 2 starting around October 6th. It remains to be seen if this is going to be a night drop like Ahsoka is currently on Tuesday nights, if they're going to do Thursday nights, and then it might actually be October 5th, or if they're going to stay with the 3 a.m. drops on a Friday for Loki. Loki was also the first show to move to Wednesdays on Disney Plus, and now this is a Marvel show moving to Fridays. As Ahsoka is staying on Tuesday nights and Wednesdays. The Ahsoka finale is the same week as the Loki premiere, just a few days later. And if you hadn't noticed, I did put an episode out here that was the first 2 chapters of Ahsoka recaps, which we're doing over on the Pod Awakens for our Star Wars coverage. So you can follow that there. But that is staying the same. So Loki so far still October 6th. That's a Friday. We'll see if they move it to Thursday night or if they're sticking with the 3 a.m. Eastern. So originally what we were supposed to get then is the Marvels, the film, which we still will in November. And then we were supposed to get on November 29th Echo, the spinoff from Hawkeye, featuring, the main one of the characters from Hawkeye, Echo, in a main starring role here. Alaqua Cox, starring in that series. They announced before that November 29th, all episodes were supposed to drop at once. This was supposed to be a first for Marvel. And it still will be. Maybe not a first, though. We'll see. Some of this wording is a little... I'm not really sure on what we can expect. But... it will still all be dropped at once, but it's going to be in January 2024. We don't have a date yet for Echo returning or premiering. Okay, but then you're like, okay, after the Marvels, we have nothing until January. No, what they've done is they've moved up, or we never really knew when this was supposed to be launching. Originally, it was supposed to be early 2023. We're now in September. And it looks like What If Season 2 is going to be debuting around Christmas Day. It's not a holiday-themed series, is what The Hollywood Reporter mentions. But, obviously, What If, we covered that. Jack Supersod came on here and talked each episode with us as we went through the animated series What If. Season 2 is going to be around Christmas Day. So we'll be, covering that. I'm not sure if Jack will be coming back or if it'll just be me or what we're doing. But What If Season 2 is going to be around Christmas Day. I'm not very clear on if it's supposed to be all at once. Like if they're just trying to burn this off now. Or if we are going to get it weekly, and at some point during that weekly run will intersect with all episodes of Echo, or if it's like as soon as What If's done, Echo is going to drop. We don't really know at this point what that situation is. Let's talk about another animated series, X-Men 97, which was a continuation of the 90s X-Men cartoon that aired on Fox. This was originally set to be a fall 2023 debut. We're about to approach fall now, but now it says will premiere early 2024, and we don't know when that is. I'm assuming this will be sometime after Echo that this will drop. But good news, a season 2 still remains in the works for this. So this is not going to be like a casualty of the strikes and stuff, it seems like. This will be something that they're continuing to do. According to the Hollywood Reporter sources, they said that they have sources that have seen it, and they said it is retro and a love letter to the original, which is awesome. I really want to be able to like rewatch the X-Men series before this launches, but I don't know if I have the time. We'll see. Maybe we'll just even have somebody on to discuss that X-Men cartoon. Agatha, the WandaVision spinoff, which is starring Catherine Hahn. This was originally supposed to be late 2023. It is now fall of 2024 to build up to the Halloween season. This kind of makes sense with the theme of what Agatha is. But along with this news, we now have a new title, once again, for Agatha's spin-off series. When it was first announced, it was titled House of Harkness. Then, I don't know how long ago, it changed to Coven of Chaos. And now, just in this Friday, they announced it is called The Darkhold Diaries. Agatha Darkhold Diaries. And this is interesting because when the Aubrey Plaza, who is playing a role in Agatha, took a picture of her chair on set, and it said The Darkhold Diaries. And, you know, sometimes these shows have like working titles that they'll have on like the back of the chairs, or, you know, and things can change. But it seems like maybe while it was filming, or before it started filming, they changed it to this name, but they just announced it now. I think I liked House of Harkness the best out of all of the names. Coven of Chaos sounded okay. Darkhold Diaries, I think I like that better than Coven of Chaos. My big issue with this, honestly, is why it took so long for them to land on a name. Apparently some sources, I think it was on another Variety's website, said that like it fits the show better, or what it's about better, or the tone or something. So I think that's very interesting because it's kind of like, did we need to know the other names? You know what I'm saying? Like when they announced the Agatha House of Harkness, they could have just said, we're doing an Agatha spinoff. Great. Right? Like at that point, I don't even think it was written. And then Coven of Chaos, we didn't need to know if there was an update on the name at that point. Right? You could have just said, we're still doing our Agatha show. Before now landing on Darkhold Diaries, which I would assume is the final name. But I thought that about the last two. So we don't know yet. But I am really excited for this. We are going to have Casey back on to talk Agatha. Because we really enjoyed WandaVision, and he was a big fan of the Agatha character and Catherine Hahn. So I think we're going to go into that in fall of 2024. And part of this stuff is not just like, that show is wrapped. It's completed filming before the strikes. And part of this is to be able to spread out the content, because they probably don't know the next time if they released everything that they were supposed to release this year, you would have had What If already, X-Men 97 this fall, and then in the winter, WandaVision, along with Echo dropping at some point. Not WandaVision, sorry, Agatha, along with Echo dropping at some point. That's too much. That's too much. I think Ironheart was supposed to launch sometime this fall. I mean, we would have had non-stop Marvel content. And we don't need that. I really don't think we do. Especially as a guy who hosts a Marvel podcast that needs to catch up on stuff every so often. We don't need the constant content. And they're realizing that, especially with the strikes. They're like, okay, we have to, if this doesn't get resolved soon, we're not going to have any content for 2024. So, of course, they push back the stuff that is filmed, is completed, to round out some of next year's content. And that'll give also people little breathers to catch up if they're not watching week to week. It'll give people time, to digest this stuff, rewatch it. I've not been able to rewatch like any of this stuff because it's like as soon as one's done, the next one's getting ready to come on, especially when you're a Star Wars fan as well as a Marvel fan. Secret Invasion ends and it's like right into Ahsoka and then right into from Ahsoka to Loki. So another news with this, Ironheart, which was being filmed, I believe. It finished shooting, and it is completed, apparently. In that sense, the shooting is done, but they still have to do probably like ADR, which is like where they redub lines and all that kind of stuff. And they can't complete that until the strikes are done. So this kind of gets moved to off the schedule. It's probably in a bit of a indefinitely paused situation until these strikes are done. So that'll probably be, if the strikes finish at some point, hopefully soon, this could probably be like a summer 2024 before Agatha type of thing. I know what you're thinking. Why, if Agatha's already done, is that going to be later than Ironheart if that's the case? Well, I would assume because of them making this move to the fall, they really want to build up to that Halloween with the witches and stuff, and it's good to probably draw some attention to that and know that you have something for fall of 2024 in case if the strikes continue for a long time. That way you have something that goes, a year from now, you would have something still producing content. Daredevil Born Again, which was expected to debut in the spring of 2024, is now paused mid-production because of the strikes. Same thing as Wonder Man, which is starring Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, or the second, was also paused in mid-production. So we don't know where those two shows will end up, or Ironheart, but I would assume Ironheart is the closest to done. You're probably going to get some, like I said, ADR, maybe some reshoots or something, but if the strikes wrap up, which I originally thought was going to be this month, maybe not looking that way now, that could still probably make it for a summer 2024. Daredevil Born Again and Wonder Man will have to get right back up into production and filming and then editing and all that stuff. You're looking at probably fall or, maybe later, 2025. The strikes and the fact that the studios aren't making the, meeting the demands, it's really throwing a whole wrench into this stuff that, we kind of just recovered from COVID, right? We kind of just recovered from COVID and having these breaks where COVID was an issue. And now here we are. And we're right back to the same issue of they're not going to have any content. They're going to have to push back and keep pushing dates and stuff like that. It's not great for them. And by them, I mean the studios. I don't know why they're not meeting the demands. I feel like it'd be better to make some money and give it to the people that actually make the content happen than making what's going to be no money at some point. At some point, you're not going to have any new content. You're not going to have any new movies or TV shows to put out there. So it's kind of mind-boggling how I thought this strike wouldn't last that long. I thought maybe even for some of these they wouldn't get to a strike because it feels easy to just say like, hey, you just got through this COVID stuff. Right? Mission Impossible just came out this year. That was the first film to start filming again after COVID. Top Gun Maverick came out last year and was filmed and completed before COVID. you were just now starting to get some of these projects back out again. And now, you may not have much projects for next year. So I'm not really sure what they're doing. I think it's crazy that they think that they can attempt AI writing this stuff and that we won't notice. That they think that, it'll just keep the gravy train moving. But it won't. People were already starting to have fatigue from how many projects were coming out. So I do think some of this is the strike. Some of it is that they realize we got to slow down on releasing this stuff. Like I just talked about, what was supposed to be released this year alone was the stuff we've already gotten. Like Secret Invasion, which came out in, August, was originally, July, was supposed to be a spring show originally, from what we could gather. So, what's come out so far? Okay, this year we got Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We're getting the Marvels. TV shows. We've got Secret Invasion. Is that it? I think that's it so far. And we know we're getting What If. Yeah, Secret Invasion was the first show we've had since She-Hulk. But we know we're getting Loki Season 2. We're getting What If. We were supposed to get Echo. We were supposed to get Agatha. We were supposed to get Ironheart. We were supposed to get X-Men 97. All this year. That's a lot of shows. That's a lot of shows. I don't know how I was supposed to cover all those shows, but that was a lot of shows. Okay, last thing I kind of wanted to talk about here was the physical media aspect of the MCU shows. So if you haven't noticed, currently you can pre-order Loki Season 1 and WandaVision, the complete series, for 4K Blu-ray, regular Blu-ray. You can find them on the Disney Movie Club website if you're a member of the Disney Movie Club. You can find them on Walmart and Best Buy, and maybe Amazon at this time. So what does this mean for the future? We kind of figured we were never going to get these shows on Blu-ray or any sort of physical media. In fact, it was just a few months ago, right, that a company, I think in China, was starting to produce a WandaVision Blu-ray set without the discs, meaning just a collector's item for you to put on your shelf to say, hey, I can't actually buy this, but I want something to put on my shelf. So it turned out that is, Disney very quickly qualified that it was, or clarified that it's I guess officially licensed, but it wasn't an official release. It wasn't something put together by Disney. Because a lot of people were like, why are you putting out a discless set? And I think now we know why they clarified that really quickly. Is because they knew these were coming. They knew they were having a WandaVision and a Loki release. If you're a Star Wars fan, Mandalorian Seasons 1 and 2 are available for pre-order as well. I'm a member of the Disney Movie Club, so I was able to pre-order. I did pre-order of Loki Season 1 and Mando Season 1, and as a 4K, and they had a deal buy one full price, get one 60% off. So my Loki Blu-ray came out to $17. The MSRP for these are $45 for the 4K, and I think a little cheaper for just Blu-ray DVD set. But yeah, we never thought we'd really see any of these, and now here we are. We've got them. We've got these nice Blu-rays that are going to release. Loki's is releasing later this month, I believe, in September here. Because it's dropping, I think it's at the end of September. It's dropping before Loki Season 2 comes out. So hopefully I'll have that. Maybe I'll try to put up a video in our socials of me like unboxing it and stuff. But yeah, it's exciting to just know that I can physically own these. If something happens to Disney Plus, if something happens to, my internet, and I want to watch Loki, I can just pop in, a disc and watch while my internet's down, or if my internet's bugging out, So that's why I've been wanting these, and just also to have on my shelf, to have as a collection. So I'm really excited. I will try to get WandaVision and Mando Season 2 as well, but at that time I could only pre-order the 2. So I will really try to get those as well, because I want them all. And I know some people are probably wondering, well, what about Falcon and the Winter Soldier? That came out before Loki. Why does that not have a series yet? I think they're trying to time these in a certain way here. Loki dropping right before Loki Season 2. Now for WandaVision, I think it's just because WandaVision was the first one. It's one of the most popular Disney Plus series so far out of its 4 years. So to try to, capitalize on that. And then I think probably Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I would assume, if these do well, these releases, and they continue doing these releases, I would think a perfect time to drop that would be with Captain America 4. Right? Hey, catch these, hey, maybe you don't have Disney Plus, buy the Blu-ray, watch the series before you see, Sam Wilson take up the shield as Cap in his first feature film. I think that's what they're probably going to do. I think that makes sense. For some of these other projects that we have yet to know, what's going on, like She-Hulk, rumors of a Season 2 once the strikes are done, that they'll start getting on that. We don't know if that's true or not. It's rumors. Moon Knight, which has been rumored for a second season. If not, will it just be dropped randomly? I think what they're really trying to do is, hey, let's push our top 2 shows. Loki broke records when it launched, and WandaVision was huge. People outside of the Marvel sphere talking about WandaVision. And Mandalorian, of course, had 2 seasons so far. I mean, they have 3, but, you're not going to launch the latest season on Blu-ray this quickly. You want to keep some of the exclusivity. So that way, maybe you watch the 2 seasons on Blu-ray and you say, I can't wait for a Blu-ray. I gotta see what happens in Mando Season 3, and I'm gonna sign up on Disney Plus. So I assume part of it is that. So maybe you're looking at like a year after Disney Plus releases, or 2 years after it releases on Disney Plus, that you're getting a Blu-ray set, which is fine. Allows us to save up and get ready for those releases. But I'm just hoping it sells well enough. Some of them were sold out on the Disney Movie Club after I went back to check if I could pre-order the 4K for WandaVision and Mando 2. But so far it seems like they're selling well on there. I don't know how well they're selling out other places so far, but it's exciting. The artwork is really great. If you haven't seen it, Google it. It's like steel books, and the artwork is custom by the artist. I forget what artist it is, but they did all 4 sets: Mando Seasons 1 and 2, Loki, and WandaVision. And hopefully these do well enough that they say, all right, let's put out that Falcon and Winter Soldier one. Let's put out a Moon Knight. Characters that are not as well known. Falcon and Winter Soldier is, of course. I think they're waiting to tie that in with the movie. But characters like Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, in those shows, What If? Right? I think they might be waiting a little bit for those to see how their big hitters do. Mando was huge in 2019. WandaVision was huge, in 2021. Loki was pretty big in 2021. So I think that's the way they're going to go about it, and we'll keep us updated as we get more information on that. But that's really all I have to cover today. So hopefully this was, informational if you didn't know those changes were happening. But yeah, I don't know. I would think that the strikes would still be wrapping up sometime at the end of this month. I would hope, because if not, we're going to have some really big droughts of stuff. They're really going to scatter some of the stuff. We're going to have big breaks of filming this stuff. We may not get Deadpool 3. We may not get, that one still wasn't finished filming. by the time the strikes happened. And that's scheduled for May. There's no way it's hitting that May date if they can't get filming again soon. So movie-wise, it's going to be a bit. It's going to be a bit of a drought. But at least they have some TV shows wrapped up that they're able to spread out a bit. Really excited to see what they do with What If in Season 2. But until we get to Loki, I don't know what our next episode will be about. It might be a little bit of a break until Loki because I am covering over on Ahsoka on the Pod Awakens. But, you know, if there's any big news, of course, we will gather and talk about it. But I'm not expecting big news other than pushing dates because they can't really announce anything with the strikes going on. So unfortunately, I don't think we have much to look forward to here in the next little bit. But we'll cover Loki in September, The Marvels in November, and What If in December.